same, I have reasons to believe that she, and she alone, knows where it is.
That's absurd. If she knew where the money was, she'd have told the authorities long ago to help her own case.
Not necessarily. What are a few months in jail compared to all that money?
I still don't think she knows.
Well, there's one very simple way to find out. Just make her a proposition.
What kind of a proposition?
If she'll tell us where the money is, we'll approve her parole.
I wouldn't do a thing like that for $1 million. Either she's entitled to an unconditional parole or she isn't.
Just the same, I intend to find out where that money is. So I shall not approve her application at the present time.
Well, that's not fair.
That's my decision.
May I see Miss Burton?
No.
Very well, then I'll see the district attorney. I'll see the governor.
You may see anyone you want, Mr. Phillips, except Burton.
You did just right, Mrs. Stoner.
I'm sure I did, Fenton.
Anything else you want of me?
No, you may go. Oh, you may tell Miss Jenkins that Burton is not to appear before the board today.
Yes, ma'am. I will. Oh, Miss Jenkins, tell Burton to wait. Miss Jenkins, Mrs. Stoner said for you to tell Burton that she's not to appear before the parole board today.
Well, it seems to me like you told her yourself.
But why? Has the meeting been postponed?
No, they just scratched your name off the list.
But I can't understand that. Mr. Phillips said that...
Mr. Phillips said plenty. Oh, but I'm not supposed to tell what I heard.
I'll find out what happened, dearie. Probably just some red tape that's got tangled.
What did happen, Fenton? I can see you're just itching to gossip.
Well, to tell the truth.
If that's possible.
Oh, but I am telling the truth. Mr. Phillips told Mrs. Stoner that you know where the money that was stolen from the bank is hidden.
Ken Phillips said that?
Yeah. And he also said that before he'd approve your parole, you'd have to tell him where it is.
So that's his game. All he wanted was the money.
Wait a minute. If Phillips wanted to make such a deal, why didn't they send for Burton?
Because Mrs. Stoner wouldn't go for it. She said parole shouldn't be bought or sold, and that either Burton deserved one unconditionally or not at all.
That doesn't sound like Stoner.
And she also said that she didn't think Burton knew where the money was hidden anyhow, or she'd have offered to make a deal long ago herself.
Why didn't Mrs. Stoner call me in to face that heel?
No, because when Mrs. Stoner refused, Mr. Phillips didn't want you to know that he suspected you. Maybe he'll have you followed, if you ever do get out.
That's the dirtiest trick I ever heard of.
Play down, kid. You don't want everybody to hear this.
No, and don't tell anyone I told you either. I'll get him wrong.
You'll always be in wrong with me. And I know the kick you get out of telling me this.
Come on, Dot. Let's talk this over quietly. Something smells pretty sour about the whole setup to me. Whatever happened, I've got a hunch that Fenton dame was at the bottom of it.
Well, I don't trust her either, but one thing makes me believe her this time. Ken Phillips said I had to pay for everything I did, and if he thought I knew where the money was, he'd want it paid back. But how did he know?
You told me. Oh, I never told a soul, but... Well, you talked about it in the visiting room, too, didn't you?
Oh, but we were whispering.
Just the same, I'm giving 10 to 1. That's how it got out.
That's it. I told Carrie and he told Ken.
Is this Carrie screwy enough to pass up 40 G's just to get even with you?
No, of course he wouldn't. Well, that's out. But I'd pass up a mint to get square with Mr. Phillips.
Tough to do, I'd say, you're being in here.
Maybe. But if I could play them one against the other...
I saw Mrs. Stoner, Burton, and the only thing I could learn was that she shelved your application.
Well, I think I know why she did it, Miss Jenkins. Maybe she's right.
That's the way to take it, dearie. It'll all work out for the best later, I'm sure.
Miss Jenkins, will you tell Mrs. Stoner to get Mr. Phillips here? I'll tell him where the money is, if they approve my parole.
Oh, so it's money you would give them. Well, if that's the way it is, I'll tell her. But it's no way for anyone to get a parole.
Have you gone crazy?
Not me. I'm going to outsmart him. That is, if you can do what you said you could.
What's that?
Get a letter out?
It's easy.
That settles it, then. When Ken Phillips gets that money, he'll think he was bombed by a flying fortress.
want you to do is to see that he gets what he deserves for double-crossing me. DB.
Can you tie that? Ma must have had the dough all the time.
I'm gonna shake it down for it right now.
No, we ain't gonna do that. We're gonna do it just like Dad said.
So why didn't you tell me where it was when I saw her?
Maybe she was figuring on buying out with it.
Sure, then his strict reformer crossed her.
We'll take care of Mr. Phillips.
Burton.
I'm told you admit knowing about the stolen money, Miss Burton. Is that right?
Yes, I know where it is.
Where is it?
Wait a minute. We got something to settle first. Remember, I've been fooled before.
But that's all been explained.
I'm talking about the clever little deal you've made.
Oh, but I never had...
Don't bother to alibi. I know all about it.
You know all about it. Who told you? If it was Lucy, I'll...
Even if it was Lucy, I wouldn't snitch on her. But that's all past history now. How about my application? Have you approved it?
The district attorney, Mr. Phillips, and my letters are in here. But you can hardly expect me to submit them yet.
Is your letter in there?
Yes, but I must admit I hated to write it under these circumstances.
I'll bet you did. All I can say is that you'd have had the money a long time ago, without writing anything. You'd had half as much faith in me as you said you did.
Well, that's pretty hard to believe in view of what you're doing now.
I'm buying my freedom, that's all. I got that money as soon as I got out of jail, and I told you in sentence office I had something to give you. But you couldn't wait. You were in such a hurry to turn me in.
Yes, I think I do remember you saying something of the sort.
Mrs. Stoner, you've got to promise me one more thing.
I haven't got to promise you anything.
Oh, but this is for your benefit. I don't want anybody chiseling in on the credit that belongs to you. So I want Mr. Phillips to go for the money alone and bring you the reward.
Well, Burton, that's very considerate of you, I'm sure.
What do you say?
All right with me.
But you must promise to go by yourself. Here's the name and address of the person who has the money. And here's part of a $1 bill. You'll need it to prove that I sent you.
Okay. It'll have to wait until after my broadcast tonight, though.
Oh, that's all right. You can phone me in the morning that you have it, and then I'll mail this.
Yes, and be sure and phone as soon as you can. Naturally, I'll be anxious to know how you came out.
Right. Goodbye, Mrs. Stoner. Goodbye.
Anything else, Mrs. Stoner?
No, that's... Except that... Well, I appreciated the way you handled everything.
Thank you. I thought I did a pretty good job myself. And this way I may still get my cut and get out of here, too.
Not to mention getting square with your friend Phillips.
Yeah, I can imagine that. If I know Wilson, he'll crash in on him like an army tank.
Well, you played it smart all the way around. If Stoner's on the level.
Of course she is. She thinks I'm her fairy godmother now.
Look out, she's coming in.
Oh, good evening, Burton. I just stopped by to thank you again, and to ask you if you remember just how much reward was offered.
Oh, about $5,000, I believe.
My, that's more than I expected. And to think that I almost let Mr. Phillips talk me out of making the deal.
He tried to talk you out of it. But I thought it was his idea in the first place.
The idea was solely mine. That's why I'm entitled to the reward, as you said.
But wasn't he the one who told you I knew where the money was?
He told me nothing of the sort. I found that out myself.
How?
That we'll not discuss. But I'm quite certain that he's not entitled to the reward in any way.
I'm not worrying about the reward. I'm worrying how I've been tricked.
What do you mean? I never tricked you.
Well, whoever did it all adds up to the same. I made a terrible mistake.
How?
About Ken. He's innocent. He didn't cross me. And now he's walking into a trap.
I don't understand.
You don't have to. Only phone Ken not to go for that money. He's in danger.
Of what? Why have you imagined all these things all of a sudden?
I'm not imagining it. It's true.
How do I know that this isn't just some scheme to keep us from getting the money at all?
Mrs. Stoner, you've got to believe me.
I don't.
At least you've got to phone.
I shall do nothing of the sort.
Well, I guess I'm sunk, that's all.
Where you going, Snoop?
None of your business.
Won't you come in and visit me for a while?
No.
You mean yes. Oh, whoa. Oh. You're nuts to do this.
It's the only thing I can do. There's no other way.
But you've ruined everything. You'll never get paroled now.
I'll never want a parole if anything happens to Ken.
Well, it looks like Dot's just giving us another runaround.
Dot don't give anybody a runaround. Hey, Carrie. What did I tell you?
Come on, let's get going.
A friend of Miss Burton's. You wouldn't know my name.
Well, he ain't an actor, or you wouldn't admit that. What do you want?
I'll give you this 1/2 of a dollar bill.
Oh, I remember now.
She said if that matched your half, you'd have a package for me.
Wait a minute. I'll see if it matches. The two go together like a sister act. How's she getting along?
Fine, thanks. And she'll feel even better when I tell her I have this.
And you ain't gonna tell her anything, brother.
Police headquarters? There's a fight here at 920 Oak Street. Oh, please, hurry.
Give me that gun.
We've got to get out of here.
Drop that bag! Don't shoot her! Mister. You're coming for protection.
Wait a minute, he's hurt. Let me go.
God damn it!
Why, they took your car. Come on, take mine.
Phone headquarters and tell them car 23 has been stolen. Get in.
Operator, give me police headquarters. And the car they stole was number 23.
Squad car 23 stolen. Broadcast full description.
Step on it, Stu. We gotta shake him. Going off the Central on the next turn. Best bet is tip of the waterfront. As soon as we get on Bayshore Drive, we'll hit it straight away. Squad cars are hopped up plenty. With light traffic on the coast road, we're a cinch to lose them.
Hello, Harbor Station. The gang has stole car 23 or on Central, headed for Bayshore. If you work fast, you can block them at the intersection. That's all.
You haven't got a chance. Ken Phillips will run you down if it takes $1 million.
Think you're worth that much?
I'm not. Getting you is. Because you're a killer. You shot him and Wilson, too.
What are you doing?
Just freeing my hands so I can handle the rod.
Okay, but don't try to free yourself with all that jack on you.
You could get a little closer, maybe I could plug one of their tires.
Don't try it. Wreck the car and the girl's in there.
We're blocked!
Look, there goes one of them. Dorothy, honey.
Call an ambulance, Ed.
Every morn I sing this song, so nothing with me can be wrong. I breakfast, lunch, and dine each day on nutty bread, so I'm okay.
Open.
Very good.
Ken, were you listening?
You sounded like you had your heart in it. Tired?
Tired of lying in bed, but not tired of rehearsing. That is, if you think I really have a chance for a job.
Oh, you have more than a chance. You have a sponsor.
Oh, but Ken, that's not possible. Well, nobody's even heard me.
I have. And I've assured the parole board that you have a job the moment they approve your application.
Oh, Ken, that's swell. Where is the job?
Well, my studio. What do you think?
Well, will I be on as a regular commercial announcer?
Well, you're going to be with me regularly anyway. And I hope one of the announcements won't be commercial at all, but more in the nature of a society item.
Such as?
Well, you'll have to write that yourself, but it must begin with yes.